Hi, everybody. Welcome back or welcome to Ship It and Sip It. This week, I'm very excited to have Kseniya Starodubova as my guest today. She is our Chief Product Officer at Paralect, also the product manager of Nudge, which was one of the first startups in our Accelerator Batch 1 2 years ago. Kseniya, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hi, John. Thank you so much for inviting. Happy to be here.
Right. And the reason I wanted to talk to you right now is because very soon we're going to start the third round of our accelerator. And I wanted to talk with you about the role of the product manager in the accelerator, how it's changed over the last couple of years, and get your perspective as both a leader and a participant in one of the startups from Batch 1, who we're still working with, which is Nudge. So let's, I guess, start with that. What is or are some of the main differences between the upcoming Accelerator Batch 3 and the 2 previous years?
Yes, the key difference is that we built new pipeline for startups. We added 2 preliminary steps before Accelerator. Step 1, called Nano, where the focus is to validate the idea of startup and to get early traction. Step 2, Bootcamp, and where the goal is to get first paid users and define the strategy, what to do next. And in Bootcamp, we will have about 12 startups and during 1 month period. And then the top 3 or 4 startups that show the real progress, then will be promoted to participate in Accelerator. This is a key difference because before that, we didn't have these steps.
Awesome. So I guess why are those 2 steps really important and why it's such a big change in increasing the amount of founders involved from Nano and into the bootcamp before we kick off the Accelerator?
Mm-hmm. I think it's very important to that during this time, like 2 months, we are working closely, and we really can see how founders behave, how passionate about their product. We can see the real progress, the real numbers, and the desire to win and to participate in further steps. I think this is the main reason for changing this flow. Because before that, we had just interviews before Accelerator, and now the process is longer, 2 months instead of 2 interviews.
Yeah, and it's a lot more open to the people who are watching the Nano Fund, watching the stream from all the startups, and it's a lot more fun, in my opinion, to get such an excited group of founders together, to see them all working very hard to just from day 0 to get their idea out there and start talking with possible customers about that idea. So I guess that changes quite a bit of what happens early on in the actual Accelerator program. We've talked offline before the show about how the product discovery process will be mostly done by the founders as they go through Nano and the bootcamp process. So once they get to the Accelerator itself, there won't be a lot of product discovery left to do. So how does that sort of change things in terms of product management? What are they going to do instead in those first couple weeks?
The main goal of the first weeks of Accelerator to understand the product idea, understand everything what was done by founder, interviews, analyze interviews, analytics, if any, and formulate vision and scope to understand what should be done next, to prepare requirements to be ready before development team will join, and developers, QAs will join the team, and also prepare mockups. And everything should be done before the whole team will join it. And this is the main goal and tasks of this discovery phase of Accelerator.
Awesome. And who's on the team at that point?
Product manager and designer, and they will work closely. And one more crucial team member is a founder. I used to think that I would say that we are on the same team, we one team. And I'm sure that that only if we think like this, this is the key to success.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into your experience with that team mindset a little bit, and go back to 2 years ago when you were working with Julie from Nudge, who I've interviewed several times, a lovely founder and a great person to have in our portfolio of startups. So can you share some of the highlights from that experience of working with Julie, and what was great about it?
With pleasure. I think the best products start with passionate founders, and Julie is one of them. And she found out about Paralect Accelerator 2 years ago and applied to our first program. And since that time, we are working closely together. And we built MVP, we released it, we launched several pilots for different customers, because this product is for different type of customers. One type, universities, the other type, companies, and we built white label for different clients. And so we had many highlights during this long period. We had user interviews. We had brainstorm sessions where we had pivot, because initially the client of Nudge was only university, and then we we added companies as well. Yeah, and this was really long and fruitful period.
Fantastic. In your role throughout the years at Paralect, you were the head of business analysis, which sort of became product management. Now you're the CPO. But you were working on Nudge during the Accelerator, and you decided that you wanted to stay with the team and continue in that role on the Nudge team. So why did you feel like you wanted to stay on the team?
Why did I want to stay?
Yeah.
I think the answer is really simple. We just made friends with Julie, and it was a long trip together. We, as I told, we had different clients, decisions, integrations. And we did many experiments. And I put my soul into this product. Really, I love Nudge. I really like Julie. So that's why this is the reason.
Hey, if your soul's in it, that's a great reason. That's the best reason there could possibly be. Okay, let's talk a little bit about teamwork in this early phase of the Accelerator. So the collaboration between product manager and the designer, what does that look like? Can you just paint a picture of it from a high level for any of the founders that might be in Nano Grit right now and that might be first-time founders that don't have a clear view of what's going to happen there?
Mm-hmm. Actually, designers and product managers have a lot more in common than you or anyone may think. Really, that both are in charge of delivering the product that meets business expectations and user expectations in terms of experience of design and experience of the app. Yeah, and product manager focuses on understanding more business goals, business requirements, and their responsibilities to prepare this part. And designers are more focused on how to make these requirements really clear in terms of UX. Yeah, and I think it's really close collaboration. And I think I would not say better than our product managers, Michael and Antonina. They wrote the article about it. We can attach it somewhere here. And they wrote a really great article about collaboration and how to share this responsibilities and to be a real team. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'll put the link to that article in our show notes for today's show. Let's see, I want to get into some more practical advice for the founders that are going through Nano Grit right now, because they are already starting to interview their potential customers and their potential users for their ideas. So user interviews have traditionally been the domain of business analysis folks and product managers. What practical tips might you have for these founders when carrying out the interviews or starting this process?
Based on my experience, I think it's very important during these interviews to encourage storytelling and encourage them to share their experiences, their stories related to your product. And this can really provide valuable context for you. And you will understand their journey and their emotions better, like what they really feel and what they really think about your product. This is one of the tips I can say. Not be so focused on writing many questions that they should cover. Better like be a listener. Than just. The main tip, just encourage storytelling. What else? You're asking about interviews, right? On the tips regarding interviews. The other tip, but I think it's obvious to make like recordings and okay, no, it's not a tip. So let's forget about it. So
that's my next question.
It's the next question.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's just look at the perspective of the founder right now that's in Nano Grit. They've got a landing page and they've got to sign up with where people can sign up with their email to subscribe to whatever's going to be the product. So how do you practically go about gathering information from this list of emails? Would you blast out a survey to get some sort of quantitative feedback on the idea? Would you schedule as many one-to-one video interviews as possible to sort of get into that storytelling that you were talking about? What strategies should the founders be doing to get this information?
I think during the early stage, it's very important to have this personal connection with your users. I don't think it will be thousands of subscribers, thousands of early adopters. And that's why I vote for a personal connection, videos, and as I told, to encourage their story, to encourage them to tell about their previous experience, about what they feel, what they think about your product. But I think I have one more tip. I just remember it. But at the same time, it's very important to ask questions and talk to your users. But based on my experience, users can lie. Okay, all people can lie, right? And maybe not intentionally. They can lie just because they like you. They know you, they follow you on not Instagram, maybe Twitter for a year, and they don't want to be rude, and they tell you what you want to hear. And I think the most accurate answers are based on analytics, based on real data, and whether they really used it, whether and even the best option, if they vote by their money, if they paid for something, this is their most honest answer and the most honest feedback.
Yeah, I guess that stage will come a little bit later when we're trying to get the founders are trying to get people to sign up and actually pay during the boot camp. But at this point, the founders are basically doing sort of problem discovery rather than any other form of interview, right?
Yes, that's true. I'm just telling that. Still, they can tell you what you want to hear. This is there, and so problem interview is one of the instruments, right? Also, you can, if it's possible. It depends, of course, on your business idea, on your product. If it's possible to check what they're doing in your product. If you don't have product, to see, like, I don't know, just to ask them to share the screen and to show you how they're using their current solution.
Once they have these conversations, how can they sort of package up the information so that's really useful for product managers down the line? Say they get into the accelerator, they say, oh, I've talked with 30 potential customers. Here's a pile of Zoom recordings. Here's 10 pages of transcripts. What is actually useful for you guys at that point?
The most useful will be interviewed some transcripts with highlights. It's obvious that it will be too long process to review, to watch all the episodes of interviews. Yeah, and I think some spreadsheets with highlights of their transcripts, it will work better.
All right. I guess we're ready to move on a little bit to the next phase of the accelerator process. Product management doesn't end at the end of the discovery phase. So what happens next, and what can founders expect from their product manager as the development starts and carries on towards the launch of the MVP?
Of course, there is a lot of work after discovery phase. Managing the scope, and there will be some changes. It's okay. We just need to manage them effectively. If something is added, something should be removed. It's a simple rule. And leading the team, and also build really great communication between all the team members and founder. As I told previously, I consider the Paralect team as the developers, QAs, designers, product managers, and founders. I think it's a one team, and so it's very important to lead it and to manage expectations from all sides. Yeah.
Awesome. Could you share a little bit about what that communication looks like? Do you guys have weekly syncs with the founders? Are you all in one Slack channel messaging every day, multiple times a day? What should founders expect from the product manager in terms of communication?
That's a great question. And we usually have one Slack chat with founder and the whole team. So everybody has access to any team member. And it's in terms of communication. So you can write questions and get answers anytime. And in terms of meetings, usually have these Scrum processes. Like we have planning sessions, we have groomings, and we have demo sessions, and etc. And you mentioned weekly things. I would say that during MVP phase, it's very important to have almost daily connection, not only within their development team, but also with founders, because it's very important to get answers, to make sure that we are on the same page, we have the same vision and goals.
Awesome. That is a very clear view of how it works. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about the tools that you use so that founders know sort of what to expect on the tool side. So what's in your tech stack for product discovery? Is it all just spreadsheets?
No. Instead of spreadsheets, okay, we also love spreadsheets, but one of the main tools is Notion. I personally love Notion. It's a really all-in-one solution. By the way, do you love Notion?
I have a sort of ambivalent. I used to love it a lot more. Now I think because Parallax Notion has turned into this monster.
Because you have many pages, many spaces. Okay, I got it. But why I like Notion because it's really customizable. You can build from Notion Trello. You can really make a great task tracking tool. At the same time, the space where you can write detailed requirements. Also, the space for documentations of QA team. It's everything in one space. I think it's convenient. But actually, any product manager can use whatever they like. Yes, I don't say like everybody should use Notion. Yeah. So regarding the tools, Notion, Figma for prototypes, for mockups for prototypes, and also for diagrams and flows. Several options. One of the most famous, FigJam and Miro. Whatever you like, you can choose. Yep. I think this is our main tools.
Awesome. And we also have a program here at Paralect for new founders called Kickstart, which includes discounts on Notion and free credits up to a certain amount, I believe. Are there any other tools within the Kickstart package that you think might be particularly useful to founders who are right now trying to sort of do their product discovery interviews through Nano Grit and the Bootcamp?
In terms of tools for product discovery, Notion is the most useful tool. The other credits that we have in Kickstarter is Retool, DigitalOcean, MongoDB, is everything that you need for MVP. It's like a huge help, I would say, for startups. And this is what you will need very soon after we launch Accelerator.
That sounds great. So given that you are, you've been a leader in product management and Paralect for a long time, and you've had firsthand experience with Nudge and Julie working through the Accelerator in the first batch, what advice do you have for product managers who are going to be working on the Accelerator startup this year?
My advice for product managers who will join Accelerator actually is the same for any product managers. I recommend to work with co-founder mindset by focusing on the overall well-being of their business, not about MVP, not about just this stage in general, like overall success of the business. And additionally, I think it's the key to success, building friendship with the founder. And I really think that's the key to success, not only in startups or not only in Accelerator. It works everywhere.
Fantastic advice. Thank you. Just to wrap up then, I will ask you one question that I didn't put on the outline, but do you have any suggestions for teammates here at Paralect or other founders that we've worked with in our network who would make great guests for our show?
I would choose... I'm just thinking about who will agree to participate. That's why.
Well, maybe they'll be more likely to agree if you suggest them and I put it in the final episode.
Okay, then I suggest to invite Alexandra Melnikova. Did you invite her?
Not yet, but she's high on my list of potential.
Okay. You want to choose someone like not so obvious.
No. She's a great suggestion. I'm very happy. I would be very happy to have her on the show.
Super.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will reach out to her and see what she has to say. In the meantime, everybody, please follow Kseniya, who is now more active on Twitter these days, as well as occasionally on LinkedIn. She's sort of joined the Build in Public movement that we have going on here at Paralect. Just build a little bit in public, right?
I should create this tag.
As well as follow along at nanohq.co to see all the news from the founders who are going through Nano right now, who are going to be in the bootcamp, and who might get into the accelerator this year. So thank you, everybody, for watching, and I hope you have a lovely weekend. Thank you, Kseniya, so much for joining us.
Thank you, John. Bye.
Yeah.